Demo sock recording length 04 minutes and 18 seconds. This recording was created using www.spokentext.net. Democratic socialism is difficult to define, and groups of scholars have radically different definitions for the term. Some definitions of democratic socialism simply refers to all forms of socialism that follow an electoral, reformist or evolutionary path to socialism, rather than a revolutionary one. A variant of this set of definitions is Joseph Schumpeter's argument, set out in Capitalism, Socialism and Democracy, 1941, that liberal democracies were evolving from liberal capitalism into democratic socialism, with the growth of workers' self-management, industrial democracy and regulatory institutions. In contrast, other definitions of democratic socialism sharply distinguish it from social democracy. Peter Hain, for example, classes democratic socialism, along with libertarian socialism, as a form of anti-authoritarian socialism from below, using the term popularized by Hal Draper, in contrast to Stalinism and social democracy, variants of authoritarian state socialism. For Hain, this democratic/authoritarian divide is more important than the revolutionary/reformist divide. In this definition, it is the active participation of the population as a whole, and workers in particular, in the management of economy that characterizes democratic socialism, while nationalization and economic planning, whether controlled by an elected government or not, are characteristic of state socialism. A similar, but more complex, argument is made by Nico Splintzaus. Other definitions fall somewhere between the first and second set, seeing democratic socialism as a specific political tradition closely related to and overlapping with social democracy. For example, Bogdan-Denich, in Democratic Socialism, defines it as proposing a radical reorganization of the socio-economic order through public ownership, workers' control of the labor process and redistributive tax policies. Robert G. Pickard similarly describes a democratic socialist tradition of thought including Edward Bernstein, Karl Kautsky, Evan Durbin and Michael Harrington. The term democratic socialism can be used in a third way, to refer to a version of the Soviet model that was reformed in a democratic way. For example, Mikhail Gorbachev described perestroika as building a new, humane and democratic socialism. Consequently, some former communist parties have rebranded themselves as democratic socialist, as with the Party of Democratic Socialism in Germany. Hal Draper uses the term revolutionary democratic socialism, as a type of socialism from below in his The Two Souls of Socialism. He writes, "The leading spokesman in the Second International of a revolutionary democratic socialism from below was Rosa Luxemburg, who so emphatically put her faith and hope in the spontaneous struggle of a free working class that the mythmakers invented for her theory of spontaneity." Similarly, on Eugene Debs, he writes, "Debsian socialism evoked a tremendous response from the heart of the people, but Debs had no successor as a tribune of revolutionary democratic socialism." Justification of democratic socialism can be found in the works of social philosophers like Charles Taylor and Axel Honneth, among others. Honneth has put forward the view that political and economic ideologies have a social basis, that is, they originate from intersubjective communication between members of a society. Honneth criticizes the liberal state because it assumes that principles of individual liberty and private property are ahistorical and abstract, when in fact they evolved from a specific social discourse on human activity. Contra liberal individualism, Honneth has emphasized the intersubjective dependency between human beings, that is, our well-being depends on recognizing others and being recognized by them in turn. Democratic socialism, with its emphasis on social collectivism, could be seen as a way of safeguarding this dependency. This recording was created using Spoken Text, the free online text-to-speech converter. To learn more about Spoken Text, visit www.spokentext.net.